If you struggle with feeling like the world is an overwhelmingly dark place, or you feel like all the news is bad news, or you're just wanting new ways of bringing more positivity in your life, the next few minutes is for you. So as a documentary filmmaker, the question I get asked the most about my films is, where do I find the stories that go in the films? All these wonderful, positive, uplifting stories. But the second question that I get asked the most, after they ask that question, the second question is always, how do you stay so positive in a world that feels like it's overwhelmed with dark news and bad news and difficulty and struggle and terrible things happening, not just locally, but all over the world? How do you stay positive? And I want to talk about that for a minute, the idea of how you stay focused on that. And I want to share 3 suggestions or tips that might be helpful for you. The first one is, be careful about where you're getting your information. You may want to choose to change the place where you're getting information about the world around you. There is a lot of information coming at us all the time. A lot of it is negative. A lot of it is not really the kind of stuff that we want to hear. The truth is that there are amazingly positive stories going on all over the world and in your neighborhood and in your community and workplace and family all the time. We kind of get fixated on the negative stuff, and in many cases the news and these different media outlets tend to tell us more about that, but the reality is there's also so many amazingly wonderful things going on in the world every day. When I was traveling, I recently stayed at a hotel, and when I was in the gym getting my workout for the day, there was this blaring cable news station going on right then as I was working out. And I just was like, I can't sit in this right now. I can't spend my 45 minutes in the gym, which is really kind of me time to relax and focus. I can't spend it in this, thinking about this. And so I found a ladder, and the TV was up there, and I reached up and unplugged it from the outlet in the ceiling because I just didn't want to listen to it. And when I did, several people applauded because it was just, I think we all kind of felt that and knew it, that, you know, it was important to get the news, it was important to hear about what was going on in the world, but being inundated with it for the 45 minutes when we were working out might not be the best use of our time and the best way to center our minds in the morning. And so, that may be worth some thought. It may be that there's someone in your world, a family member, a friend, a coworker, someone in your neighborhood, someone in one of your friend groups who just is constantly sharing negative things. And I'm not telling you to fire that friend, but it may be something that you need to think about in terms of how much time you're spending with that person and how much that view of the world, that negative view of the world, is influencing the way you see everything around you. And it's so important because the way you see everything around you affects the way you see yourself and the way you feel about your own world. So that's number 1, is check out and do an inventory of the places where you're getting your information about the world. The second is proactively look for the light. Look for the light. Make a decision every morning when you wake up that you are going to look for the good in people, the good in circumstances, the good in events, the good everywhere you go. You are going to focus on that. In our new film, Look to the Sky, there's this amazing story in the middle of it about Violet, who's this young girl that we filmed with. When she was walking through this home, in the front yard of this home, it was under construction. It was kind of a mess everywhere, and the gravel was all torn up. For some amazing reason, she had this amazing vision to look down and see this tiny little flower that was growing in all of that gravel that was such a mess down there. And she reached down and she picked it up and she gave it to someone who needed that encouragement. And that was so inspiring to me because it reminded me of that need that all of us have to proactively make a decision to look for the light, to seek it out, to find it, and then to share it with each other when we do find it. It's a skill. Some of us are born, I think, with it a little bit easier in us. We do it a little more naturally. But I believe that all of us have the capacity and ability to do it if we make a decision that we want to. So that's number 2, actively seek out the light. And then number 3, and this is a little bit deeper, this requires an even deeper self-inventory, is to really think about and consciously consider whether your cynicism has become a protection for something in your life. It may be that you have a dream inside of you that you want to pursue, but you're afraid of pursuing it. And so the cynicism has become kind of a defense mechanism for why you shouldn't take the risk, for why you shouldn't take that leap, for why it's not safe, for why it's not a good idea, for why the world won't support it, for why it's gonna fail. All of those things that go on in there. And it may be that you need to kind of look at that and wonder for a minute if maybe what you're doing with that view of the world is protecting yourself from a fear of failure of something. Now that may not be the case, that may not be what you're doing at all, but it's worth taking some time to think about it, to consider whether or not you are using a negative view of the world as an excuse for why you shouldn't move forward with that new relationship, with that new business idea, with that new creative venture, with that new project you've been dreaming about. You feel like, well, I shouldn't even engage with that charity project or try to make a difference, raise some money, because the world is so dark that it won't make a difference anyway. And you're using that as an excuse to stay on the couch. Please don't let that happen to you. Please shift, if that's holding you back, shift your view of the world, knowing that you are powerful to make positive change and to make a real difference in the world. And that the beauty that you're seeing in this place around me is not only all throughout the world, but it's also in you. It's also in your heart and your spirit to make a difference in the world. And so the reason I see so much light, the reason it's easier for me to see positivity in the world is because I've actively sought it out. I've tried as much as I can to eliminate those negative sources, and I try to go deep with myself into those places. And you know, I have to do that every day. And some days I don't do it very well. Some days I find myself attracted to some negative, dark story, or I find myself looking more at the darkness than at the light in my own heart and in others. And I use it as an excuse to not really do anything. And I want to get better at that. I want to do more because I believe that my potential and my capacity is to do more, and I believe that yours is too. And I look forward to seeing the amazing things you will create in this incredibly beautiful world we live in. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today. If this video was helpful to you, subscribe, like, follow in the place that you found it so you can stay tuned for future videos. And also, if it was helpful, check out my website, brettculp.com. You may find some inspiration there that will be helpful for you with more videos and blog posts and writing and all kinds of things you might enjoy. Have a heroic day.